Hey everyone, welcome to this very special session at BNB Chain with Corite today. Today we'll be talking to Matthias, the founder, about Corite and a very special campaign that they're about to launch today, which I'm sure will really hype up everyone here who's joining. Corite, for those of you who don't know, is really disrupting the music industry by really bringing fan power to blockchain technology. So we're really delighted to have them with us today for a very special discussion about what they're building and how you can all get involved as fans in the music industry. So I will invite Matthias into the room. Hey, Matthias.
Hey, thank you.
How's it going?
It's great. It's a lovely day in Sweden where I'm at.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining. I know we have people from all over the world, people putting in stuff in the comments. Keen to hear where you're all dialing in from or jumping in from across continents. So it's a very big welcome to all of you. Matthias, we're all excited to learn more about Corite. Why don't you share a little about Corite, what you're building, and what it means for all of us?
Yeah, sure, of course. Maybe I should start by myself because I'm one of the reasons behind this project. The other guy's name's Emil. He unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but I think I can handle. But we're building a music service, and it's for the artists and it's for the fans. And I'm a music guy, like since way back. So I think there's a couple of big things that sort of led up to Corite. I would say it's myself being a struggling independent artist in the 90s, trying to make it through the noise at that point. Had some amazing years, but then decided to try to make my living on something else because Corite didn't exist. So I started up as a management consultant for several years, and then I was fortunate enough to end up at Universal Music, the biggest label in the world.
Nice.
And I was there for a bunch of years during a very, very interesting time, which was basically the last big revolution in the music industry when CD died and streaming was born. So, and all these things happened in the Scandinavian territory where I was heading up the commercial business. So I think we took the Universal from like the digital revenues of Universal Music in Sweden, like 2009 was around 2%. And then 4 years later, it was like 85%. And then 2 years later than that, it was like 95%, and everything came from Spotify. So it was like a total transition in a very short amount of time. And of course, we did a lot of changes, and I learned a lot. And it took me with me to the next industry. I was in the media for a couple of years, or several years actually, working with a big company called MTG in the Nordic region, and primarily focusing on investments in YouTube business, but also esports, which was fairly new at the time, around like 2012, 13. And we managed to build, we brought ourselves into the game and become a really leading global producer over a couple of years. But I learned more things there, which that business compared to music, where fan relation and artist has been a case for like ages, but didn't really change over time. In the gaming field, you got these new talents like the gamers and the hosts, and they managed, together with this service like Twitch, they managed to build entirely new business model based on fandom and subscription to certain people or whatever you wanted to do. And that was really inspiring. So, and I thought sort of when we thought about it, like Corite is built on the foundation that the music industry pretty much lacks these kind of functionality, which is built into the gaming side of things. So Corite is about taking that fan power into the music and help artists grow. And I'll step into the more details a bit later and do a little demo, but that's what we do. We try to sort of get the fan power out of all these billions of listeners out there to help the artist move forward in a new way.
Exciting. There'll be a lot to cover, but I'm curious. You said you were a struggling musician yourself, and I'm sure you benefited from a platform like Corite. What sort of music? What was your scene back in the 90s?
Well, I like the guitar. I have a Telecaster. I like noisy rock sound, and I like to sing. So yes, I was like the front man in a rock band. Yes.
Nice.
I would have loved. I would have loved to sound a bit more like Bruce Springsteen than I do, but still, that's.
Okay, cool. And so Corite, tell us more. I mean, we'll jump into the details afterwards. But do you want to give us a project walkthrough, or like what it looks like, and how users can engage with it and what it means for them. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, sure. And I think, basically we can do that. I can do a demo. I think that's normally the best way to show where we are at right now. But also we need to consider when checking the demo, we're still in the beginning of this. So this is just the first. We're very proud of where we're at, because just a couple of weeks ago, we launched ourselves to the BNB Chain, and that's probably the reason for me being here. And plus the fact that we will introduce a great artist to our platform just in a couple of hours. So, but yeah, we can do that video demo, and let's tell a bit how it works. And I will cover both, like how you can use Corite as a fan, but also as an artist, because these are the two major players in the Corite ecosystem. And I think also that's what makes it so interesting, because I think the music industry, being a creator's industry, it's probably one of the best fits for the whole blockchain idea. It was like, it should be run by the artists together with the guys that love the music, which are the fans. And that's what we're trying to build, I would say. And what we're doing and what we're trying to solve, which is an important factor, is pretty much the basic problems that artists and fans face today, which is normally solved by a record company. And so these are the guys that, as in your intro, we're trying to disrupt the old school model of financing and promoting music. And we want to do that together with the audience. So this is pretty much what we're about. But let's dig into the site to see what.
Good. I'm excited to see it. I'm sure everyone else is. I can see people jumping in from all over the world: Singapore, Kenya, all across Europe. So excited to have everyone here. But yeah, let's jump into it. I think we have a video.
Okay, so let's do a short little product demo. I'll start from a backer perspective. So this is the explore page of Corite. This is where you find all active campaigns. And what you can do here is to listen to the songs. I disappear on a nick. You don't think I see? I do. You think that is hopeless. And then the process is basically, when you like something, you normally are prepared to back it. So let's check this one out. Digging into this project a bit further. This song is called Disappear, featuring Queen Key. And the main artists are Wifey Baby and Rico Love. And if you know Rico Love, he's a very famous producer that produced with Beyonce. And he's also part of the Grammy jury. So this is a high quality case, I would say. Looking at the figures right now, you can see that Wifey Baby has managed to raise $3,391 out of the total target of 10,000. So let's say you want to get a share, you just push here, and then you decide how much money you want to invest. I don't want to invest more in this project right now, but what happens when you push next is basically you can pay either with traditional fiat models like PayPal or credit card, but also with crypto. So going back. Yeah, I'm also very excited to tell you that since 2 weeks back, we are live on the BNB chain. And the first functionality we have is basically that you can put all the song shares that you have acquired onto the chain, which is pretty cool. And also, of course, not only pay anymore with fiat, now you can use cryptocurrency to pay for your shares. And I'll just show you a bit how it looks like. So take this campaign example from Oscar Stambridge, for instance, where I did a small investment just to show. Here you can see I've invested $10, and then I decided to put my song share onto the chain. So I have 1,000 shares of this song, and it's now on chain forever and ever. So everybody will know that I have been investing in this artist. And also now when I invested with crypto through my MetaMask, I will also get paid back in crypto through this smart contract. So, and you can check it out on the BSC scan to just check that all your transactions is here. And that is like the first way for us to sort of enter this Web3 environment, which will be a crucial sort of fundament for us going forward. But I think really you should check it out, you as a crypto user. So I would urge you once again to go into Corite, sign up, hook up your MetaMask, and do your first backing. It's an exciting experience, and we really want to have you all on board as we grow this service going forward. That was the backer perspective. If you go from the artist end, this is how artists set up a campaign. So you can choose either to just release a song with us, which is totally fine, but of course we want you to create these kind of fan campaigns. And this is how it works. And I'll take you through a bit of the mechanics around basically the contract that the artists putting up together with their backers. So the first thing the artists need to do after finding a name here, the campaign, which is normally the song's title, they decide how much money they want to raise. And this is, of course, depending on how big you are and how famous you are and what kind of track record you have from the past you have. So you put a number. Let's say we aim for $10,000. So next step is, of course, to decide how much you want to share with your backers. So let's draw this bar a bit, and you see what happens if you take this up and become more generous. The streaming goal goes down a bit. So let's say we are prepared to share 50% of our profit with the backers. Then you will end up raising $10,000, sharing 50% of the profit. You will have a streaming goal of 4 million, and the backer return, if that goal is reached, will be 1.5 times the money. And if you see the small print here, you also see with this kind of setup, the estimated number of streams that is required for payback for the backers is only 2.2 million streams. So this is a good campaign. Could be generous, but it depends on who you are and what kind of track record you are. And that's also why we let the artist always put in their previous record on Spotify as a measurement, and then a link to that track so we can see, and that was determine how we put and present the campaign for the backers later on. Then the artist needs to go through a couple of things. They need to tell what they want to use the money for, which is totally up to the artist. They describe the campaign, put up some pictures, put up some music, and tell everybody about themselves as an artist. And then SafeM campaign, it goes straight to our moderation department, and the moderators approve the campaign, and boom, it ends up on the service. So that's pretty much how it works from an artist perspective and a backer perspective. Then the campaign is normally a length of 30 days before release, and then Corite as a platform also release the music, which is important because what happens after release is as important as the fundraising, I would say. And then you can step into the activity field here. Here you have a bunch of information. There you can see your balance on previous investments, but you can also see all campaigns that you have invested in. You have a link to the Spotify, the song on Spotify, and you can see the progress on Spotify for these songs. And this is cool because this is data that normally only the artists have access to, but now you can actually follow it in parallel with the artist. And this is also data we use as a platform to initiate missions and activities to activate the backers to help push for the song, because that is a very important aspect of Corite. It's not only about financing music projects, it's also about marketing and promoting music projects. And these kind of data is also what we will build our play to earn kind of mechanism around when we coming further ahead with our project. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show today. And I urge you to get into the service and try it out yourself. It's super simple to sign up. Of course, it's totally free to sign up. And I think you should do your first backing because it's kind of fun, especially today, because I have a little teaser for you that we will show from a great artist that we have had the opportunity to work with, which is the great Alan Walker. I'll show you a little clip from Alan's Instagram the other day.
Hey, so you left me on a cliffhanger. I want to see the Alan Walker clip, and I'm sure everyone here wants to see it. So I have a lot of questions about the product, but I'm also very excited to hear from Alan Walker. So I think we should probably bring in that message.
Hi Walkers, I'm so proud of the steps that we've taken together and built such a creative community where everyone has a role to play and a voice to be heard. And not so long ago, you helped me to create the song Unity. which now I'm so excited to announce that we are releasing Unity and in partnership with Corite. By joining the campaign, you can claim a share of the song and earn money every time the song is streamed. So thank you so much for the continued support, and let us welcome the future together.
Winter starts to roar. The lion awaits the wave, but through it we are brave. Everyone is lonely sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yay.
That's so exciting. Congrats on such an exciting and very big first campaign. I'm sure there are a lot of Alan Walker fans in the audience. I'm a fan of his music as well. Before we jump into everything you're doing with Alan Walker, probably helpful for those who are just joining, welcome. We're talking about how Corite is disrupting the music industry by really bringing Fanpower onto the blockchain. So maybe it'd be helpful just to give a quick recap, Matthias, based on what we've watched, like how it all works. Once people back their artist, what happens? Like, I want to back Alan Walker. How do I do it, and what happens afterwards?
Yeah. Let me recap the demo we just did. So the project Corite is about helping artists using their fan power to the fullest, but also by financing the music, and then we help the artists distribute the music to all the usual suspects like the Spotify, the Apple Music, the TikToks, the YouTube, etc. And then we collect the money that comes in from the royalty, and then we split the royalty amongst everyone who was participating in the backing. So that is pretty much the gist of it. And the way it works is that the artists set up a campaign on Corite. They decide how much money they want to raise, and they also decide how much of the profit they're prepared to share with their backers. Then in the campaign, as a backer, you find the music, you listen to it. If you like it, you back it. And then you get a piece of the revenues from Spotify and the other streaming services when the songs are streaming. And that's pretty much how it works. And then Corite as a platform and the community will try to sort of squeeze the use out of every backer to help to promote this common project so we can share the success together, because that's the end goal, breaking the music. And it's today, it's so much need for big artists like Alan, but also for smaller independent artists. There's 70,000 songs released every single day on Spotify. So imagine if you have 1,000 or 2,000 or even 10,000 people that could help you spread this. Then you have a chance. And I think that could be a super powerful marketing tool in a like decentralized economy, like you can build on blockchain, when the artist sets the rules and the backers are basically working together to make sure that the music becomes a success. So that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and that's incredible. I mean, there are loads of artists, I'm sure, like I follow, and everyone here follows, that they've been supporting them from day one, and they'd love to be backing them on their journey as they grow and become more successful, right? I'm sure that there's always, you've probably had that time where like, oh, I knew this artist before they made it really big, and it's almost like a source of pride, right? When you're like, oh, I knew them before they went mainstream. And I think with Corite, you can also back those artists before they really have their big moments, which I think is awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's that point is kind of cool. There's several videos when Ed Sheeran was like like a street musician before he got signed. These are the kind of moments you want to sort of find. Like, you imagine he put the song on Corite and you were invested in it, and then boom, that happens. It's like these are the moments. And that's the beauty. I think that's also, of course, you shouldn't, if you invest in an artist like that, you shouldn't expect to get your next swimming pool, but it's fun to join the ride. And there's always a chance, but that's not that many songs that made it to that kind of level, but still it's a kind of thrilling thought to find an artist early stage.
But today you're working with a very different kind of artist, right? Alan Walker, who is huge, has a mega fan base. Can you tell us more about this campaign? And how did it all come together?
Yeah, I think the beauty with Alan is that he's like this. He's like the perfect role model on what we're trying to build. And the cool thing is that he already basically did it on his own. So he actually didn't need Corite. But now when we are here, we found each other. So with the same kind of vision, which is all about building stuff together with the guys and girls that loves your music. He has basically proven that with great talent and a way of treating and working together with his audience, managed to build this brand into what it is today. And as you've seen, probably his tour right now is named Walkerverse. He has been building this world of walkers since the get-go, basically. And every core fan of Alan is called Walker. So it has hundreds of thousands of people with a number. So you can be Walker number 1, which is Alan, and you can be Walker number 2,444. And that's so cool. And I think it's so a great fit with what we're trying to build. So that's why I'm so excited to sort of work together with Alan, because we can basically, from his Walker world and our Corite world that we're trying to build, I think he will be inspirational for so many artists going forward, because not only for the fact that he has done what he's done, but now working with Corite is a good example that really good and great established artists also can take this like quantum leap and leave the traditional model and do it in a new fashion. But of course, for new artists, there's not that many options, but I don't think you will see so many out of these like 200,000-300,000 professional independent artists out there get signed by a record label. And I'm not sure it's a good way either, because I think you really need to build your own universe basically as you go along. So that's why it's so cool. And the campaign in itself, which we're launching in a couple of hours now, it's called Unity. And it's even more special because the whole song here is not only will be financed by backers, it's actually created by backers, or walkers, as Alan is calling them. So it's a project that took part a couple of years ago, where he engaged the entire community to create a song together with him. So there's a bunch of 100 producers behind this. And now it has never been released before commercially, but it's already on, I think, 65 million streams on Spotify. So it's pretty popular already. And now for the first time, we release it on the commercial services. And he now also brings and invites all his backers to basically join and share the success together. So I think it's a brilliant project to show what we are all about.
Amazing. So I know the campaign's going live in a few hours. Are you allowed to share with us how much your Corite is raising for this campaign? How much people can invest? I'm sure people are eager to learn more about that, the specifics.
Yes, so this is also the whole idea, and the whole goal here is to get as many people as possible on board. So we basically we put down the threshold to $1, so everybody will be able to participate. So it costs the share basically costs $1 to get, and the maximum investment will be $10. So we don't want to have people with a lot of money just buying the Alan Walker Unity song. That's not the case. We want thousands of people joining this campaign to be able to then also do some missions together to make sure that this song becomes a huge success. Having said so, this is only the beginning. We will do much more stuff going forward together with Alan. And I would say, so the maximum investment today is not that impressive. We will just sort of, I think we will only raise like $25,000. But still, it will be a small investment from a lot of people. And together we want to make a success from this song. And I think looking into the campaign figures, this is a generous campaign. So I would bet that over the 5-year period that this revenue share exists, I would bet that everyone will be happy. So that's
amazing.
Good.
Yeah. And so let's say people here, the fans and the mega fans, the walkers in the room, right? They want to invest, let's say up to $10. So they invest in the campaign. What happens next? What do they need to do? Or what should they be doing?
Yeah. So it will be a process here. So they can start investing from like 4 o'clock Swedish CET time. And then what happens is
2 p.m. UTC for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So right. So and then Alan is on tour right now, so he will push the audience and sort of talk about this a lot over the next couple of weeks. And I want to engage with his audience as much as possible. And we will come up with different challenges and things to do. And then the song is released on the streaming services the 3rd of June. So that's basically the release date of the song. And that's the day when we want to engage everyone that's backed this to sort of push this to become like a huge hit. And I think we have a good potential. And then over the years, we will try to sort of continue to work with the backers, and there will be much more coming up in our project. So as as Alan always announced his name of the tour to Walkerverse, you can imagine what's in the making. And this is just the first steps on that tour.
Can you give us more sneak peeks from the Walkerverse on what people should expect or can expect?
I think actually you can start to figure out on your own if you explore the internet a bit about Alan and his. He's built this world of walkers for several years, which is actually a storyline that lasts from it started 3,000 years ago with a story it's like a Star Wars saga where he will take you through the years on time to what's happening today and into the future. And there's a bunch of character already in play in that world, and there's a lot of locations and very nice ones, and you have a lot of drones that you can see a lot of. And then you need to use your imagination what the Walkerverse could be about. It's the next level. We're entering Web3, so there's a lot of opportunity here. But I can't tell you more. It will be announced soon.
We'll have to stay tuned. But it sounds like this is the first step into that journey. So that's very exciting. I have to ask though, for the Alan Walker fans in the room, do you have a favorite song? Favorite track by Alan Walker?
Yes, it's hard not to end up with Faded top of mind. I would say I love that song, and that was the first time I heard about Alan when he started to sort of become really famous. But after listening a lot of him the last couple of months, I would say I really love the initial stuff he did because. Not only because it's so much co-write in that, because he created a couple of songs. The reason for him getting signed in the first place was that he did it on his own. He sat in his bedroom, created music, and was a gamer. And then he managed to create the huge viral success around a couple of songs. One of them being Fade, which is the instrumental version of Faded. And then you had Spectre, you had Force. And I saw his Instagram the other day. He announced that the Spectre video just passed 1 billion streams on YouTube. And that was early stuff that he made before he was even ever signed to any kind of label. So I really love that young Alan doing this thing from his bedroom, which is, once again, this perfect role model for what you could become if you just have the talent and you start working with it. So I think, No. So I'm looking forward to doing more stuff around that sort of storytelling element about Alan's career. And then, of course, he's really creative, so he will do a lot of cool stuff going forward as well, which is even more exciting, I would say.
Did you get to meet him in person yet?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What is he like for the fans in the room? What is he like in person?
He's a really, really nice guy. Norwegians and Swedes are kind of similar, so we have a very easy way of understanding each other. But I think it strikes you that he's this very talented producer / artist / DJ that has been working focused like crazy over the last 5 years to build the thing he has built with humor, with love, and also true care, I would say, about the ones that built his career with him, which is the fans. And I want to mention, because a big part of this business and the brand they built is Gunnar, who is his manager, who is also a genuinely great person that has, together with Alan, since he was very young, built the whole brand around Alan and what they're doing together. So it's a pleasure working with that team, and they have an amazing team around them that creates every basically video material, whatever you see comes from that sort of closed circle of people around Alan that's really much into the project. So it's it's a team
behind. Right. Yeah. I have to ask, was he wearing his mask when you met him?
No, I didn't. But I actually, first time, I think we had masks first time we met him because of other reasons. But now
so you're all wearing masks. You felt less unusual, basically. Everyone was just wearing a mask when you met him.
So I think he's probably pretty glad that this COVID stuff is over, as everybody else, because now he's alone. He's the one with the mask rather than one of the masks.
Yeah, but for the people who are just getting to meet him, and maybe for people through Corite who are discovering Alan Walker for the first time, this incredible musician and DJ producer, they're probably wondering why he was wearing the mask. Did he share any story about that?
No, actually, that's you need to interview him on his own to ask that.
Yeah. I'm curious. Welcome everyone who's joining now from around the world. We're obviously talking about how to disrupt the music industry with Corite and how you can get involved and really bring Fanpower to Alan Walker's kind of world, but also to blockchain technology. I'm curious. We asked Matthias for his favorite Alan Walker song, but I'm curious to know what everyone else's favorite track is by Alan Walker. You can drop it in the comments. Keen to see whether everyone's also kind of is a big fan of the same sort of track. So do drop those comments. I am curious now. So obviously part of this innovation that you've built with Corite is kind of like bringing the play to earn model to music, or some form of that. Can you tell us more about what that is for those who aren't familiar with it, and what it looks like within the music industry, or what it looks like from your perspective?
Yeah. And I 100% agree with you. This is so thrilling. And that's also the reason for us entering this space of blockchain technology, because as I mentioned before, I truly believe that the music industry is probably the perfect fit for this idea of decentralized organization. You have the creators, which are the artists, and then you have the listeners growing in numbers, because today I think there's billions of people having access to streaming service, and there's, as we also mentioned, hundreds of thousands professional artists out there, and they're all competing, releasing like 70,000 songs every single day. So the importance as an artist to get hold of the guys that actually like you and listen to your stuff, it's so important. So the play to earn that has proven very successful in the gaming industry the last year, I would say it makes even more sense with maybe not play to earn, at least play and earn, I would say, and play and share success, or whatever you want to call it. But point is, like, Corite solves two problems for the artist. One, I need some money to create my music and get it out there. Two, I want marketing and promotion support, because otherwise I will be sort of stuck in the noise. So, and we think as Corite that the solution is the fans, and the fans, they have a chance now to back an artist and actually make profit if they're helping out in a good way. And also, music has always been about fandom and sort of playing with music. So it's a kind of fun. So we're trying to construct a model. We believe in a model where you can combine reality with some gamified elements, which makes it fun to sort of play with the music. And that's why I think music's so strong, because it's one, you have like a true asset, which is a song that streams, but on top of this, you can play with the music, and you not only play the music, you can play with the music, as we've seen in a lot of cases. And that's where entering the blockchain element, having like tokens and reward system in place where you can actually reward people that are doing stuff that makes value for the music and for the artist and for the platform, and then share that success together. That's what makes it so interesting. So I can. So there are several angles, but the most simple thing that we will start is basically a concept we call missions. So on Corite, very soon, you will be able to perform missions. And by doing so, you will be able to earn Fanpower. And the Fanpower is like a point system that calculates how good you are as a backer, basically. So the more you do and the more you help, the more Fanpower you will have. And that Fanpower system will help us reward the best contributors, basically. So the more you play with the game and help out and do cool stuff, and it could be simple stuff like following the artist on Spotify, or share the music, or even co-create the song, as the Unity example. That could generate a lot of Fanpower if you actually produced the material that then would be released. And it could be stuff like the artist putting up two cover arts in front of you, say, hey, could you vote on that one or that one? Pick the best, and the one that picks the best gets the most Fanpower. Oh no. So all these kind of playfulness, gamified experiences that the artist can interact with the audience. We will use the crypto elements to boost that further and make fans more actively involved in the whole process. That's the point.
And more valued, right? And more rewarded for being fans, right? That's amazing. That's always something I think a lot of people think about, right? Which is, when you think about the success of some of these artists as they go about that journey, sometimes the fans don't always feel as involved, even though they've been critical to that journey. So I think that's incredibly powerful. I have to ask also on the play to earn model, in what ways does it differ? For those who are familiar with play to earn in gaming and who might be playing those games, is it different in any way? Or should we be expecting something quite similar?
Well, I think the big difference is that our play to earn mechanisms will build on a combination of reality and game, if you say so.
Yeah.
While the game is game, which is cool in one essence because you control it and everything around it is like in your world. We have that challenge that we also in, and also an opportunity because we're in the real world, so to speak. So the music will actually stream, and you will have the chance of making money and earn from the investments you've done, just as services right now. But what we will add is elements like NFTs, where you can stake your song shares, and then you can pimp the NFTs and you can play with them to make them cooler. And eventually you will stake some more song shares, and maybe you create your own little portfolio of songs in this NFT. And if you're good enough as a backer, you will find great songs with a lot of potential and a great NFT. And that NFT could then be traded among each other and played around with different stuff. And you can think about it also, all these metaverses that now pops up everywhere, which is great. In music, these kind of collectible items and stuff has always been a way for fans to sort of show their identity and sort of their alliance with different artists and music genres, etc. So it's a very natural thing for us as a artist-friendly platform to help the artists create these things digitally. So let's say you want Alan Walker drones in the future. It might be that you could have one and you can bring it with you.
I would love to see that. I mean,
yeah, so all these kind of things. It could be clothing, it's like digital merchandise, all these kind of things that you can play around with. And I think that's what makes me so excited about this whole blockchain world, because the opportunities are endless, I would say. And I would say in a short amount of time, there will be so much more happening. But right now for us, the focus has been to sort of start with the core and actually do a real product that people can use to start with. And I think our sort of MVP that we have right now, it's a very good starting point. But we will definitely continue the development now as we go and try to add more nice, cool features over the way.
So we talked a lot about how Corite is disrupting this industry, but you're also someone who spent time in industry, right, before coming out to like truly innovate. I'm curious to know, what for those who aren't so familiar with how this whole royalty industry system works, right, who are coming in and obviously want to unleash that fan power, but for those who aren't familiar with how it used to work, what does it look like? Could you share some more detail on that?
I think the best way to explain this is basically from the industry perspective. It has been a couple of revolutions over the years. So the record label, probably most of you guys know what a record label is. That's the people that signs you as an artist. Historically, in the 60s and 70s, stuff like that, that was the only way to get your music out of the door, basically. You could, of course, you could play guitar back home, but if you want to get signed was what's important, because of the fact that the labels at that point, they pretty much had monopoly on the whole value chain. So first you needed a studio to record in, and that cost a shitload of money. So somebody need to pay for it. And that was the record label. They signed you and they paid for the recording. And then in the normal, as you said, royalty model, it's called the artist contract. So then the record label owned the recording so you basically record it and then you give it to the record label because they paid for the recording. So, and then at that time, record labels also was monopolists of the distribution. So they had the trucks that took the vinyl records to the stores. And then if they were big record labels, they could push their records on top of the list. And that was the records that sold the most. So it was a very big threshold to get into the system to begin with. And then sometime around the century shift, like 99, 2000, MP3s hit the world. But also computer power got to a point where it made sense to record music on yourself at home without going to a music studio. So that was pretty much the first revolution. People started to produce on their own, and then they put it out like MP3s, and everybody was piracy copying like crazy, and the industry went down the drain. So during a couple of years, in Sweden at least, like 50% of all people was fired from the industry. Wow. So that was a second revolution, like production and sort of digital distribution in like a pirate format. Then came streaming, and that basically turned back the powers to the labels again, because streaming make revenues flow again in the system, and the one that holds these master rights is the one that gets the revenue. So once again, it was very important to go to the label, get a contract, But in the same time, a lot of sort of self-distribution service pop up, like you have Amuse, you have DistroKid, you have a bunch of services where you could take your track and put it onto Spotify without any label. So that was, and what was left in the label model was like they lost the production monopoly, they lost the distribution monopoly, but they still were the only guys that knew how to market music properly and the only guys that financed the projects. And during the last 10 years, I would say things have shifted again, because now as Alan Walker and a lot of other artists, they build their own audience in their social media and stuff. And the record label has less power in that process, because you can't buy TV advertising to sell CDs anymore. You need to be very much more flexible. They're adapting, they're pretty good, but still, it's not that obvious that that's the best solution for marketing of music anymore. But still, until the day, the labels are the guys that finance the music with these artist contracts or license contracts. And that is a very expensive way of get financed if you're an artist, because you give away your rights and you give away more or less 70% of your royalties. And then it's a bit doubtable what you actually get back. You get the money so you can produce, but then that's where services like Corite could come and compete, because we have a new model. We know that you need the money, but why don't you get them from the fans instead and get a better deal, because you can work close to the fans and everybody share the success. And then once again, if you manage to get thousands of people backing you, there's a good chance that we can together find models that is much more efficient than traditional marketing to create buzz and spread the word and get things viral. So these are the things I would say. I was a bit of a lengthy story, but I think the whole idea is that the artist wants to keep their rights, not sell them to somebody else, because that in the end, if you're successful, you want to remain having those rights in the end of the time. And then if you use the one that really loves your art instead of somebody that only is there for profiting of your art, it's probably a better model. And that's up to us to now prove, of course, but that's at least the vision I see.
Yeah, no, it sounds like over the last, maybe 2 decades, right, with the internet and now with Web3 coming into the scene, it's like it's all been about empowering the artists and the fans, but empowering artists like in terms of how easy it is to become a creator, and then over time how easy it has become to distribute and raise awareness and build your brand, right, and share your art with the world. That is, the barriers to that have fallen over time, and now, for the fans, your Corite is giving them that opportunity, like empowering them to, and also empowering the artists to really join forces, right? And help sponsor and nurture that talent, but also promote them, right? Because as I understand it, like maybe 10 years ago, a lot of what was dictated as cool and what was listened to was like dominated by radio, right? And radio kind of set the agenda, and so on and so forth. But now it feels like, with everyone who backs Alan Walker or whichever artist on Corite, through these streaming services, they can help influence what becomes big and what becomes really successful, right? Sharing it with their community. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. And I say that's now, and looking forward like 5 years, imagine when there's several of very successful metaverses where people hang around and there are people coming around with boomboxes in the metaverses playing their favorite song, and they have merchandise with their favorite artist on their digital avatar. That's probably a new kind of radio, much more sort of decentralized, much more. But things are moving, and these media outlets will change. And I think the only thing that will remain is artists, great music, and people that loves that. If these guys stick together, they can take themselves through all these kind of whatever is physical or digital worlds. And the whole idea with the blockchain technology and the encryption and the way that you can create value together, that is what makes the difference. Because then if you, for instance, if you as a backer are great and help a lot of artists and get rewarded on the way when we get our token out and all these kind of things, you will have a chance of actually build yourself with the service and the platform that you supported. So I think, that's my vision of the future.
Nice. I definitely want to open up the room for questions from the audience. So for everyone, if you have questions, comments, please drop them. We can ask Matthias from Corite and just kind of answer those questions as they come up. But I guess one question that actually I did see was, and you kind of mentioned it, was should we be expecting exclusive NFT releases with Alan Walker?
Well, I
Can you
hate
share
to sort of, I can't spoil the future. I'm sorry, but as you know, there are several elements in the Web3 environments, and of course, NFT is one of them. So yeah, well, yeah, let's. I think actually Alan shared something. If you check his Instagram a couple of weeks ago, he said something. It's
All right,
about
everyone's going to be digging now for those.
it's some pictures of drones, and it's some collaborations with pretty famous artists in the visual space and stuff like that. So, but check there, because I don't want to ruin his
Yeah. So
the future.
Matthias you're not saying anything. It's all from Alan Walker. We'll see what he says.
Yeah, and I would actually urge you guys to get into Corite and sign up now, because if you do that, you will get all the information that comes up in the near future. And also, you should check his Discord out and all his channels if you like Alan.
Yeah. Gosh, more people curious to know about the future. Will there be any metaverse concerts? Is that something Corite wants to do?
Well, yes, that's a very brilliant idea. I think Corite, we will be very close to the fans and to the artists. I don't think we will build our own metaverse, at least not for now. But there will be several great metaverses out there. And I think what we will do is to try to use them and work together to get our music out and the artists out. It could be everything from creating cool NFTs on Corite, which could be like a tape where you put your songs, or a boombox where you can bring it out into the next world, or of course, concert moments in spaces where it makes sense. And I think we will see a lot of these things happening over the next 6 to 12 months. We're pretty excited. We're announcing a partnership with one of the metaverses very soon, and which will have a couple of components of this. But if the question was if Corite will build metaverses, the question is right now at least no. But I think we will partner up with as many as possible, because I think to your point, Marwan, if radio was big like 10 years ago, who knows? But some of the metaverses might be the best breaking platforms for music in the years to come.
Yeah, that's true, right? It's like Lil Nas X had his big debut right on something like YouTube, right? Maybe in the future, the next big artist will have their big debut in one of the metaverses, and maybe people will be able to back that artist via Corite. And I think maybe that is a direction we're going to, but we can't predict the future. But I'm going to ask you to take out your crystal ball. Music industry, artists, fans, 10 years from now, what does that look like? And you kind of alluded a bit to it, but what is that vision that you have for the future?
Well, this is a tricky one, but I believe, looking at an industry perspective, I believe in a 10-year perspective, a significant part of the recorded music that's been released at that point will be done independently from artists, not using the old school models like there's the artist deals I was talking about from Future, but they will do it together with the audience. If the whole industry will be much far more decentralized than today. It will be ruled by the artist that knows how to cut their way through this noise and do it right, like Alan. These guys will be successful. You can't be an artist relying on a label anymore, because that will make no sense. You can't sit in your studio just producing music and hope that somebody else will care. You need to work hard to connect with people. That's the thing. And I think from our end, it's about execution. I think if the vision is right and the idea I have of the future, now it's all about us doing the right stuff at the right time and not do too much wrong. We will do a lot of mistakes. I'm 100% sure about that. But we need to be like brave and resilient, like getting back on track if we do something that doesn't work. But I think that's the thing that drives us is the idea of the fan power, how to connect the audience with the artist and how that could make sense. And that's the future I believe in.
Amazing. I realized before I have some final closing questions, but it looks like we have another question from the community. Will there be specific Corite NFTs? Not basically the artist NFTs, but Corite NFTs. Is that something you are doing or will be doing?
Yeah, I think so. I know so. It's nothing that I can tell about specifically now, but it will be in the line of NFTs that with a playfulness could use the music that we're promoting and in different states. So it could be tapes, it could be like boom boxes and all these kind of things that make sense as carriers. If the CD, we think CD is a very boring carrier, so you could do cooler stuff than that. So these are the things, and we're also exploring a bit around, merchandise items, of course, for artists, because we want to help the artists and the fans to do cool stuff. So I think some artists are into fashion. Of course, they want to do sneakers, and they want to do whatever they do in the physical world, they want to bring into the digital. So these are natural things. So I think the question could be pretty easily answered just checking the history, what's been popular in music. So let's say if you had like a numbered edition, mint condition vinyl from the Beatles' White Album from 1968, one of the 200, that will be worth a fortune. So imagine if you had the Alan Walker limited edition something 10 years from now, or for that sake, the artist that you mentioned that nobody has discovered yet, and you bought the first out of 20 of something that he provided, was a sort of hat with a logo and a number and a sign. That could be really, really useful and worth a lot in a future metaverse. So these are things that we're exploring with. But it's, once again, I think the whole Web3 opens up this fun gamified potential to not only use music as an investment tool, which could become a bit boring. It should be a playful environment where you actually play the music, listen to the music, share the music, and also play with it. And that's where the NFTs and the more co-write specific NFTs could come into play.
Yeah, so it's not about investing, it's actually just being like elevating that experience and how you enjoy and play with the music that you love from the artists that you love. I think that's very powerful. I know we're coming up to time. I think, we talked about quite a few things, right? Like how Web3 blockchain technology is really turning the music industry on its head, empowering creators, empowering artists. For everyone who's tuning in, what should they take away from Corite and this very exciting new campaign with Alan Walker?
Well, I think they should take away that if they like music, which I heard about 99.9% of the global population does, I think Corite is a really nice service, because you can dig into Corite, you can listen to music. If you like the stuff you hear, you can back it, and by backing it and actively promoting the music, you will be part of the journey, and you can share the success with your favorite artist and the favorite music. And if you like Alan Walker, the time is in a couple of hours, then you will have the chance to sort of see what we're doing. And I think that's a great opportunity for you guys to get started. But you will also find a bunch of other interesting campaigns on the service already there right now. So maybe you find another favorite as well as you go along. But I think that's the next step. And then in this crypto space, we're so excited, and we will do a lot of things and new product development coming out over the next months to come. So just follow our journey and join our community, because that's how we want to build as well. We want people that loves music and loves crypto to unite and build this thing together.
That's super exciting. How should people follow the Corite journey to kind of stay up to date on the Alan Walker campaign that's going live in a few hours, but also on any upcoming initiatives?
So I think the usual suspects. You should, of course, surf into corite.com and get registered. It's for free. Thank you. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Telegram. And we have both like official channels and announcement channels and a lot of things around us. And Alan Walker, same goes with him. You can follow him on his socials. I think that's the best way to
What's the Corite handle? I'm sure there's some people on their phones now. What's the Corite handle that they need to search?
You mean on Twitter?
On Twitter, on Telegram.
Maybe it's easier. I think actually I will share the links with you guys, and then we can put it somewhere so you can figure it out. Otherwise, I will just say something wrong, which will end up in disaster.
I think I've put one on YouTube in the comments for people to follow. That's the Twitter. So all the big announcements. And reminder for everyone: what time does the campaign drop for Alan Walker?
Yeah, UTC 2:00 p.m.
Amazing. Well, I think that wraps it up on our end. First of all, I want to thank Matthias for joining us here at BNB Chain for this very special campaign and announcement that's going live in a few hours. Thank you so much for taking the time to share more about what Corite is building, how the industry is changing, and about how people can get involved in really backing Alan Walker, which I think is incredibly exciting for everyone. Shout out as well to Sunny in the studio for helping build such a great event. And of course, big thank you, big shout out to everyone in the BNB Chain community and the Corite community and the Walkerverse as well. I'm sure there are many walkers here as well who made this really special, a lot of fun. And thank you again. I think we're just going to wrap up now. So thanks again, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Hi walkers, I'm so proud of the steps that we've taken together and built such a creative community where everyone has a role to play and a voice to be heard. And not so long ago, you helped me to create the song Unity. Which now I'm so excited to announce that we are releasing Unity and in partnership with Corite. By joining the campaign, you can claim a share of the song and earn money every time the song is streamed. So thank you so much for the continued support, and let us welcome the future together.
Winter starts to roar. The light